Hey guys, Jason here. I'm going to deal with truth or tradition and their attempt to deny the eternal nature of hell and the conscious torment of the damned. Um, what he's going to do here, again, like I stated in the first video, is do eisegesis and emotional interpretation. He's going to try to use emotion and eisegesis to interpret the Bible. And what he does is he takes John 3:16 and interprets everything through that grid. Okay? And I want to show you here, this is my owner's manual for my Chevy Ventura. If I want to find out about the muffler, I go to the section in the back of the owner's manual and I look up muffler, and then I go to that page number that's directly dealing with muffler. If I want to find out about the power steering, I go to the page and I look up power steering that's directly dealing with it. What I don't do is I go to a section that's not dealing with power steering but mentions it and say that is going to be the section I'm going to use to interpret all other things that talk about power steering in my car. You have to go to that section. John 3:16 is not talking about the eternal state of the damned. It uses the term perish for those that reject Christ, yes. But you have to continue to look at other scriptures that are directly dealing with the eternal state of the damned to understand what's going to happen. The topic, you have to go to that specific section. And Revelation chapter 14 is directly dealing with it. Revelation chapter 20 is directly dealing with it. 2 Thessalonians chapter 1 is directly dealing with it. He also denies the eternal nature of the soul. And he cites Ezekiel 18, citing nephesh. Yes, nephesh means a lot of different things, and it can mean person. The person who sins will die. He doesn't deal with, or I haven't seen a video yet where he deals with Revelation chapter 6, which directly deals with souls that are under the altar that are crying out to God for vengeance for their blood. Now, of course, his God, God is all love. It's all love, and he even says that in one of his videos. We need to see everything through the grid of love and all this. And when I went through his videos, I saw the word love probably 50 times, and I didn't see the word holy once, not one time. Righteous, maybe, I don't know if I saw that one time. Judgment, maybe once. But love, 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 it's all love, love, love. And the way he interprets that is that this can't be the case, because if God makes people be punished in hell for all eternity, that wouldn't be very loving. So let's look here. He's going to try to do the parable of Lazarus and the rich man. He's going to distort that as well. Say it's just a parable, and that it doesn't mean anything beyond, it has a certain, I don't know how he interprets it, but he's going to distort that as well. Let's look at this.
Where there's worms, and the worms are going to continue to eat, and the fire is going to continue to burn until everybody's totally consumed. It's John 3:16.
John 3:16.
You either live forever or you perish. You're gone. And I guess the last difficult scripture I'd summarize very quickly is the parable of Abraham and Lazarus' bosom in Luke 16. And all you have to do is go to a good commentary or to our resources at Spirit and Truth, and you'll find that the majority of Christian commentators agree that this is a parable, not literal. It's not literal that the rich man was burning in Gehenna and Lazarus was looking on. And
that's true. It is a parable, but the setting is true. It's the same thing with the Good Samaritan who went down the road to Jericho to save the person who was beat up. Remember that? Just because that's a parable of a Good Samaritan doesn't mean the road doesn't exist to Jericho. It doesn't mean that there weren't robbers that would beat people up and steal from them. Okay, so the setting of Lazarus and the rich man is true. The parable is interjected in there, and that's where he goes wrong. He says it's a parable, and he just dismisses it completely. And here comes his emotion, his appeal to emotion.
Primary reasons for believing that is, think about your eternal future. Do you really think you could enjoy eternity if you could hear people burning in torment, and they could talk to you, and they could call out to you and tell you about their pain? Boy, every civilized country I know rejects torture. And thankfully, conservative Christian theologians look at that and say, no, that's not the way the eternal good future is going to be. Our God's a God we can love. God gives us a choice between life and death. Let's choose life.
Okay, appeal to emotion. Okay, that's so mean. Governments around the world don't do that. That wouldn't be very nice of God to torment people forever. That would be mean, mean, mean. What does the Bible say about it? Stop appealing to emotion. Okay, now he does deal with some scriptures. He just says Gehenna is a garbage heap. He goes to Revelation 20:14 where it says the second death, and he says that's just like the first death. If he just read 4 verses earlier, he would have seen that the beast, the false prophet, and Satan are all tormented day and night forever and ever. Completely out of context. He goes to Psalm 37, not dealing with the eternal state of the damned, not dealing with it. He talks about how the wicked are cut off. They are. The Old Testament is primarily dealing with the earthly situation under the law covenant. Malachi 4:1, again, Old Testament, that they'll be burned up like in an oven. That's dealing with the earthly perspective under the law covenant. It's not dealing with the eternal perspective. The Old Testament hardly even mentions the resurrection. So are you going to interpret everything through that? He talks about how God is fair. You know, God, how that isn't God fair? This is all appeal to emotion. If you want fair truth or tradition, we should all get eternal torment in hell. All of us, the whole human race. We've all sinned. We've all fallen short of the glory of God. We all deserve eternal damnation. All of us. It's only by God's grace that He chose certain people for salvation. This is very emotional. And he quotes Romans 6:23. You know, for the wages of sin is death. Yes, what kind of death is that? It's a spiritual death as well. It's not just a physical death. Okay, a spiritual death. And the second death, according to Revelation, is the lake of fire, which is eternal torment forever and ever, as it states. Also, the guy, he's an open theist. He's a Unitarian. He's basically a false teacher. Unfortunately, it's sad to see. The God that he worships is pretty much a supersized version of Superman. It's this God, he doesn't know the future. He's trying real hard. He's all about love. He's like really loving, and he's really kind, but he completely neglects the holiness of God, the righteousness of God, the otherness of God, that God is an other type of being than humans. He completely ignores those passages that deal with that. I would love to see his interpretation. I listened to his interpretation of Psalm 139 about how God knows our future and he's written it in a book. It completely butchers it. It's just incredible. I'd love to hear his interpretation of Isaiah 40-48 on open theism, but that's a whole nother topic. But anyway, this is how not to interpret the Bible. You need to take the passages that are directly dealing with the topic at hand, the muffler section. You don't go to the break section to find out about the muffler. The break section may mention the muffler, but that doesn't mean you use that one sentence in the break section to interpret all the muffler sections in that area. Revelation 14 is directly dealing with eternal torment, as is Revelation chapter 20. All right, God bless.